It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News. We're coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Ajwatin Kramadomina. Coming up, Public Utilities Regulatory Commission (PURC) justifies action against board members of Electricity Company of Ghana and says it will consider legal options if they fail to pay the 5.8 million cedi fine.
I guess the court is the final arbiter when it comes to disputes. So at least since I've been on the board, there are a number of fines that ECG have they paid. So I hope this time around too they will comply with the order. But if not, I believe the legal department will advise the commission appropriately.
Also coming up, Public Utilities Workers Union accused Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah of abuse of power after he sanctioned the arrest of ECG's Ashanti West manager over power disconnection issues.
Intend making a statement on this in the public domain and then acknowledging that such act of abuse of power should not be tolerated within the body policy.
Still in this bulletin, rotational nurses and midwives defy heavy rains in Accra as they protest the delay in disbursement of their 9 months arrears.
As it stands, we are 9 months into our service. That's our rotation. But it's unfortunate to tell you that our monthly allowance has not been paid to us, not even a city.
And later, police in the eastern region commenced investigations into murder of an unknown woman whose body was abandoned at Oklomwasi. We have details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 30 minutes. Remember, the bulletin is live around the globe on citinewsroom.com, on YouTube and Facebook. We're on Citi 97.3 FM. Across the country, we're live on a number of affiliate stations. In the western region, you can tune into Premier 100.5 FM in Takoradi Beach, 105.5 FM in Takoradi. In the Bono region, this is Green at 95.9 FM in Sunyai. In the Ashanti region, Orange 107.9 FM Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Holy 98.5 FM in Aplau. In the northern region, this is Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In the Upper East region, you can equally tune into Word 88.3 FM in Zwarungu. And in the Upper West region, Bugli Radio 88.6 FM in Wa. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful you could join us this afternoon. We begin on matters of electricity, and a board member of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission (PURC), Commissioner Ishmael Ejekumhene, has justified the decision to fine the ECG board members 5.8 million Ghana cedis over power outages, popularly known as DUMSO. The fine, according to PURC, is due to violation of Regulation 39 of LI 2413, which requires prior notification to consumers before any power interruption, among others. Now, the Commissioner Ishmael Ejekumhene tells Citi News the decision to fine the individual board members dating from January to March 18 this year is to prevent the passing on of the fines to consumers. He adds that the Commission has legal precedence of its recent action.
Every cost incurred by ECG, once it's legitimate, would have to find its way back into the tariff. So if we fine the company, let's say 10 million, and they pay as a fine, they can find a nice way of disguising that cost. When they are asked to submit their request for tariffs, they can find its way there as an operating expense. All operating expenses are, once we allow it, they are supposed to be passed through the tariff. So the commission said that, okay, we're not going to do that, because if we did that, it can find its way back into the tariff. We're not going to be able to control how it gets back into the tariff. So we were advised by the legal team that it's possible to attach the fine to the management and also the board. So that's the import of that side. One, we didn't want the whatever fine once paid to be reintroduced into the tariff. And two, we've been advised that there's a legal precedent to what we are attempting to do.
Well, Ishmael Ejekumhene further tells Citi News that the Commission will explore legal options if the board members of the Electricity Company of Ghana fail to comply with the 5.8 million cedis fine.
we all quoted relevant provisions of the Act that upon which we were imposing the fine. I think the fine was the next logical step for the Commission. We will get to that bridge if depending on how ECG responds to this latest order. But yes, we are aware of that provision, and I guess the court is the final arbiter when it comes to disputes. So we decided as a commission to impose this fine. And mind you, this is not going to be the first fine that you recall that when the issue with the prepaid metering and people were not able to buy power, and with at least since I've been on the board, there are a number of fines that ECG have they paid. So I hope this time around too they will comply with the order. But if not, I believe the legal department will advise the commission appropriately.
You heard Commissioner Ishmael Ejekumhini. He's a board member of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. Let's stay a while longer on the subjects because the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, Duncan Amwa, has commended the PURC for the action it's taking against the ECG for failing to release a load-shedding timetable by April 2, 2024. Speaking to Citi News, Duncan Amwa suggested that the indicted persons should be dragged to court if they refuse to pay.
PURC is setting a very good pace for public administration in the country. Oftentimes, people are put in trust of institutions to act for and on behalf of the state. Now, anytime they renege on their duties or responsibilities, we tend to rather hold those institutions responsible as opposed to people in key decision-making positions who should have acted and refused to act. And so PURC unveiling in this instance is just a way to say, look, if you fail to be responsible, fail to be accountable, though you had sworn an oath of office to work and to provide general oversight responsibility for the institution ECG, we are going to hold you summarily responsible. PURC would have every right to drag the said individuals before the court.
Meanwhile, Duncan Amwa also suggested that the monies, when collected, should be used to compensate consumers who are affected as a result of the power outages.
Well, PURC in the past have worked effortlessly, as far as we are aware, to compensate people. They have even, led litigation sometimes on behalf of consumers who have been badly affected one way or the other, get compensation. I will not be surprised that whatever fines being ascribed here or being meted out here, part of it would go to offset whatever inconveniences that those who have probably suffered one loss of electrical gadget or the other would have suffered. But anything just to exact, responsibility from individuals we put in trust of our state institutions, we are all for it, and we think that this is a very good precedent which should be followed through from him.
That was the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Duncan Amwa. Let's take you to the Ashanti region, but still on electricity matters. The Public Utilities Workers Union, PU, has described as abuse of power the actions of the Ashanti Regional Minister to cause the arrest of the Ashanti West manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Engineer Mark Asumeni Wiafe. The minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, is reported to have caused the arrest of the engineer following the disconnection of power to the Kumasi Technical University. This action of the ECG task force allegedly did not go down well with the minister, who subsequently directed the police to invite the ECG manager for questioning. According to PU General Secretary Michael Adumata Nyantechi, the ECG manager was detained for several hours a day after he honored the invitation of the police. He, however, says Engineer Wiafe was subsequently granted bail after writing his official statement with the police.
There was a task force from the national level that went to Kumasi to do an operation, and as part of the in connection with revenue mobilization. And Kumasi Technical University is owing quite a huge sum. So the task force disconnected Kumasi Technical University for non-payment of fees. And when the information got to the regional minister, he called the Ashanti general manager of CCG, Engineer, and directed that they should reconnect the power to the institution. And Engineer explained that the task force that came was not from Ashanti region, and he doesn't have control over the activities of the task force. It looks like the explanation did not go well with the regional minister. So he threatened that if the general manager did not allow his people to reconnect the power, then he will report the matter to the police. So in the night, the police called the general manager to report at the police station. So the following morning, he went to the police station. And when they got there, the police indicated they were investigating a complaint against him for causing public unrest. And then he was made to write a statement and then granted himself according to the we say that this is most unfortunate because this is a legitimate work that is being carried out by ECD. And even this was not by the Ashanti regional team. We intend making a statement on this in the public domain and then acknowledging that such acts of abuse of power should not be tolerated within the body policy.
That was the General Secretary of the Public Utilities Workers Union, Michael Dumata Nyantechi. Let's move away from that story. Now, the National Food Suppliers Association of Ghana is not enthused about a promise by former President John Mahama to cancel the use of the National Food Buffer Stock Company for the distribution of food to senior high schools. The NDC flag bearer during his Building the Ghana We Want tour in the Eastern Northeast region said he will ensure that feeding grants are channeled through the heads of SHS to procure food items for students. But spokesperson for the Food Suppliers Association, Kweku Amedume, in an interview with Citi News, says there should rather be more investment to the buffer stock company to improve its efficiency.
Those times when suppliers were not under buffer stock and were still dealing with the headmasters, there were times you supply food stamps to headmaster, and as you're expecting money, another day you would go, they will tell you the headmaster has been transferred and there's no proper recordings or documents pertaining to the delivery have made to the headmaster, and so you lose your money. As I speak with you, there are lots of money locked up with headmaster for a reason that those headmasters have been transferred or are gone on retirement, that they don't have proper record to show that the delivery has been made to those. You see, all we need is capacity building for buffer stock. Buffer stock has warehouses across all the farming community. In fact, with silos, buffer stock can be able to hoard food and buy the food and keep, and delivery will be going on efficiently. It is the money that is not available that is what is making the free SHS suffer. It will not help we, the suppliers, because whatever you look at it, the food will be procured from us. If you're asking the headmaster to procure, the headmaster cannot be able, given his burdensome responsibility, he cannot be able to go to the market to procure the food. He will rely on we, the suppliers.
You had a spokesperson for the Food Suppliers Association, Kweku Amedume. They were reacting to comments made by the former President John Mahama on plans to cancel the use of the National Food Buffer Stock Company in the distribution of food to SHS. Let's stay on the NDC flag bearer John Mahama because he has criticized the Akufo-Addo government's launch of the performance tracker. Mr. Mahama described the projects listed in the tracker as mere fantasies that do not deserve commendation. Speaking during his Building the Ghana We Want tour in Nalerigo in the Northeast region, Mr. Mahama contrasted the performance tracker with the NDC's renowned Green Book, suggesting that the tracker is not a true reflection of the government's efforts.
You don't have to be sorry. They didn't deceive you alone. They deceived the whole of Ghana. So it's not you alone. So don't worry, They packaged themselves nicely, made all kinds of promises, and today all those promises are broken. They've come with something they call a performance tracker, and they are retracting some of the things. They say 67 were put in error. And the performance tracker has things that district assembly should be doing.
You heard the flag bearer of the opposition National Democratic Congress, John Mahama. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News live from our studios in Adabraka, Accra. Still to come, rotational nurses and midwives defy heavy rains in Accra to protest the delay in disbursement of their 9 months arrears. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV. Citi TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. Citi TV, it's your world.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Let's bring you some other stories. This afternoon, the National Democratic Congress in the Ashanti region has questioned the rationale behind relocating the Ameri power plant from the Western region to the Ashanti region. The NDC criticized the government's decision to recommission and rename the plant originally inaugurated in 2015 during the John Mahama administration, describing the move as a waste of taxpayers' money. President Akufo-Addo is expected to commission the Kumasi 1 thermal power project on Wednesday as part of efforts to enhance system voltage and stability in the middle and northern regions. Now, head of the commissioning, Abbas Nuruddin, the Ashanti Regional Communications Officer for the NDC, called on the government to instead focus on resolving the financial challenges in the power sector.
At Angomaso, in the Oforikrum municipality in the Ashanti region, the questions many people are asking are, why will the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government waste scarce resources to recommission a power plant that has already been commissioned in 2015? Why is the Akufo-Addo government seeking to change the name of the power plant from Ameri to K1TPP? How does the mere recommissioning and renaming of the power plant from Ameri to K1TPP help resolve the financial crisis that is the main cause of the doomsday Ghanaians are presently experiencing? How on earth does the mere relocation of the Ameri power plant from Abuaze in the western region to Kumasi cost $35 million, which is over 3 times more the amount Otumfuo Osei Tutu is soliciting to renovate the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital? Ladies and gentlemen, the more questions we ask, the more confused we become as to the true intentions of this clueless and incompetent Akufo-Addo government.
You heard Abbas Nuruddin. He's the Ashanti Regional Communications Officer for the National Democratic Congress. Let's stay on politics because the Grand Coalition has declared its intention to disrupt Ghana's traditional duopoly system in politics by winning the upcoming 2024 general elections in December. The Nouvelle Political Alliance, comprising 10 members, including representatives from various political parties and non-partisan independent bodies, announced its candidacy with the goal of rescuing Ghana for all generations through industrialization. During a media briefing in Accra, Jacob Osei-Yeboah, the interim leader of the coalition, outlined their plans to amend the 1992 Constitution and implement structural reforms to address numerous challenges facing Ghana once elected.
Transformative agenda is to amend the Constitution 1992 and replace the political parties with 5 socio-cultural and economic constituencies of our nation. The first constituency is the National House of Chiefs and Queen Mothers to protect our tradition and our culture. Number 2 is the faith-based community who are the embodiment of our morality. The youth, the third constituency, is the youth who are the force of transformation for the generations ahead. The fourth is the businesses, industries, and traders. That is the economic power of our nation. And 5, the professional bodies, the creative, the innovators, to protect our nation and to have education, that will be the solution of the challenges that we have as Ghanaians.
Interim leader of the Grand Coalition, Jacob Osei Yeboah, a while longer on politics as the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, is calling on the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, to prove how the missing biometric verification devices can corrupt the electoral process. This follows the NDC's consistent accusation and allegations on missing BVDs and subsequent calls for an independent probe into the matter. In an interview with the national coordinator of CODEO, Albert Ahen, he explained that an independent probe into the missing devices will lay fears of Ghanaians ahead of the elections.
Definitely, once these issues are raised, it will really disturb a little bit the Ghanaians who are at the background listening, and definitely it will shake up their faith in the Commission a little. Like in all institutions, the theft may not have been detected earlier by the EC. I'm sure they may not have known that some of these things were missing even until I think the NDC brought it to their attention. So my advice is that they should try and prove to the EC that they can use those machines to corrupt the system. And I think every Ghanaian will be interested to know that. How can the missing computers be used to corrupt the system? That has to be proved, because it will then, allay or, good tempers. We need to be very careful to really listen. And if there's any probe to be done, any investigation to be done, it has to be done immediately to allay the fears of everybody in this country.
That was the national coordinator for the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, Albert Kofi Ahing. Now to one of our headlines, members of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association have defied the rains to stage a demonstration in Accra today. The exercise is to put pressure on the government to immediately grant their financial clearance for the payment of their 9 months arrears. Members of the association are currently on their way to the Ministry of Finance to present a petition to the minister on their issues. We will speak with my colleague Christopher Kevin Asima, who is live with them. But before that, the national president of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association, Amebo Kwame Jr., has been speaking to Citi News on the issue.
Rotational nurses and midwives gathered here today, and these rotational nurses and midwives are national service personnel that started their service on July 10, 2023. As it stands, we are 9 months into our service. That's our rotation. But it's unfortunate to tell you that our monthly allowance has not been paid to us, not even a cedi. And this is a frustrating issue. As it stands now, the financial strain on us is too much. We have written to the ministry on it to let them know our concerns so that they will be addressed. But it's unfortunate to say we have not received any response or any action to that effect. So today, as we are here to march to the Ministry of Health, to the Ministry of Finance, and then the Parliament of Ghana to submit our petitions to them for them to respond to us with an immediate effect.
He heard the national president of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association, Amebo Kwame Jr., speaking to my colleague Christopher Kevin Asima. He now joins us live on the phone for more updates. Chris, good afternoon. Have the nurses and midwives submitted their petition to the ministries mentioned yet?
Yes, Ajwa, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to our listeners. The nurses and midwives have submitted their petition. Ajwa, what is interesting is that it's not just the nurses and midwives that are here. We have the Unemployed Graduate Nurses Association that have decided to also join this particular demonstration. So we have two groups protesting today with support from the National Association of Health students all here. So the Nurses and Midwives Association, in conjunction with the Unemployed Graduate Nurses, have all filed before the Ministry of Health and presented their petition. Unfortunately, the Minister of Health wasn't able to receive the petition. The Public Relations Officer of the Ministry and the Human Resource Officer received their petition on behalf of the Ministry. They have also moved to the Parliament House. Parliament is currently on recess, but then the Deputy Clerk of Parliament has also come to receive the petition on behalf of the Speaker of Parliament, and he has informed the students that he will make sure that the Speaker gets their consent. So currently we are in the Parliament House right now, where the nurses have just presented their petition to the Clerk of Parliament. I'm just here with who is also a leadership part of the demonstrators here, and I also have the president of the nurses. I'm told that since 2020 till date, unemployed graduate nurses are still at home who are still waiting for clearance to be posted. So that's about a 4-year badge. And they say that they are worried because very soon another badge will come to add up, as well as the nurses and midwives who are saying that they are also worried that their allowance since July has not yet been paid.
Right, Chris. Thank you so much for that update. Do follow up with us. We will update our listeners in subsequent bulletins. That was my colleague Christopher Kevin Asima bringing us updates on that demonstration by Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association. We understand, plus the unemployed health graduates as well, presenting their petition to the Health Ministry, Parliament, and the Finance Ministry on the release of their arrears as well as their postings. Let's move away now to other stories. The Odumase Krobo District Police Command is currently investigating the death of an unknown young lady whose body was found abandoned at Oklomwase Ojam, a suburb in the Lower Menya Krobo municipality of the Eastern region. According to sources, the body, which was deposited for some days by unknown assailants, is in a decomposed state. Now, the Odumase Krobo District Police and environmental officers in the Lower Menya Krobo Municipal Assembly who visited the scene are currently working on the appropriate means of handling the decomposing body as investigations to unravel the mysterious cause of the death is also underway. Meanwhile, the police are urging the public to volunteer information which will aid their investigation and also want help in identifying the deceased. Let's stay in the Eastern region as police at Akwadum in the region are investigating the death of a 20-year-old welding apprentice, Felix Ayite, at Akwadum near the Chief's Palace. The young man, who was rushed to Ifijuase St. Joseph Hospital in Koforidua, was pronounced dead on arrival, and his body was subsequently deposited at the hospital's morgue for autopsy and preservation. The New Jabin North Municipal Deputy Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Kankam Chumesi, confirmed the incident to City News.
In the morning, around 10 a.m., we received a call from Akwadum Police Station that there has been an incident. A young man, age 20, named Felix Ayite, who is an apprentice, a welding apprentice, has been electrocuted at Akwadum near the chief's house. So we had to mobilize ourselves and get to the scene to take our assessment. But when we got there, the Akwadum police officers has already been there, and the body has been moved to the mortuary. That is the St. Joseph's mortuary at Ifijuase. So we had to follow up to the Ifijuase police station to take details of the boy, as indicated in the report.
You heard the New Jabin North Municipal Deputy Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Kankam Chumesi. Now, an environmentalist with the University of Environment and Sustainable Development, Dr. Lloyd Labi, has bemoaned the impact of climate change on agriculture in Ghana. Dr. Labi says the change in weather patterns has affected crops, with farmers losing out on their yields. Speaking to journalists at the inaugural Africa and Diaspora Development Initiative's on environment and climate action, Dr. Labi called for urgent intervention by the government to address the concern.
Every aspect of this life is being impacted by climate change, and it has been a very serious issue that globally, regionally, locally, everybody needs to do something about it. Ghana, for instance, our economy drives on agriculture. Yes, most of our farmers rely on natural rainfall for their crops, and we can all bear evidence to the fact that our rainfall patterns have changed. Yeah, these days when it's supposed to rain, it doesn't rain, and the rain also comes in torrents. It falls heavily, affecting a lot of things. Yeah, we can talk about flooding. Yeah, issues of flooding is being recorded in Ghana unprecedentedly. Yeah, when we back to farming practices, for we realize that climate change is also impacting so many crops. It is affecting pests. These days, a lot of pests are thriving in areas where they couldn't thrive, and they are impacting a lot of food crops.
Dr. Lloyd Labi is an environmentalist with the University of Environment and Sustainable Development. And that's it for Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Adabraka, Accra. For more news, please visit citinewsroom.com. My name is Ajwa Tinkramadumna. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good afternoon.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.